Shri Shambho Ramanatha. Welcome to another session of Shiva Purana. In the previous session, we saw how Shiva descends as an avatara on Mount Kailasa. We also saw how Narada, who is the media galore of all the lokas, informs Lord Shiva about the birth of Ma Shakti, and Shiva says, may the games begin. So here we have to understand that Shakti is born as in a human form, but Shiva descends directly into the tattvas. This is something that you must keep in mind. She comes down as a baby. It is shown how the yajna happens and how the mother dreams of Durga riding an elephant, and a ray enters into the womb of the mother, Virini. What we must also understand here is that there is a deeper meaning to all this in our esoteric, Natha Trika system. The descendants of consciousness into matter, as they say, from Shiva Tattva to Prithvi Tattva, which is the grossest of all, happens through the creation of word, Akshara as we call them. There are 50 Aksharas, and if you are interested to know more about how this descension happens, or how the expansion or the coming about of matter from consciousness happens, you must understand the concept of Matrikas. And the entire Trika system gives a very, very detailed idea of what the Matrikas are and how one must indulge in upayas, different techniques to, let us say, understand and manifest these Matrikas. Conversely, there are also what are called as Malinis or Malini. Malini is the jumbled up form of the same Aksharas, which help you involute, go within, almost in a sense, going back to the source of the consciousness Shiva from the Prithvi Tattva, from matter to consciousness. So Matrikas are sounds which come down from consciousness to matter, and Malinis are sounds which take you from matter to ultimate consciousness, Shiva Tattva. But all this is explained in a very loving and fascinating manner here in Shiva Purana, that she is born, she keeps looking at the moon, the Chandra, outside her balcony, and in the moon she sees her lover Shiva. All the time she sees Shiva growing every day and becoming smaller every day, depending on whether the moon is waxing or waning, and disappearing one day in a month. It is said that the baby Shakti cries when there is no moon to look at to remind her of Shiva. Many such stories are given in the Shiva Purana about Shakti and her unfathomable love and connection to Shiva. She grows every day, she hits puberty. It is that time when the body is seeking the other. It is that time in your life where suddenly you become aware of your gender, of your sexual nature, and naturally the man seeks a girl and a girl seeks a boy. So too, her friends, Sati's friends, start teasing her as to who will the princess find as her lover. From a very young age, Shakti is very sure that it is only Shiva who can be her husband, who can be her lover, who can be her consort. All her friends repeatedly tease her, saying that he is a Vairagi and he's a yogi. This is what I mean. We must understand the Matrikas in Tantra and the Malini of Tantra. The Malini is like Shiva, always in Vairaga and yoga, in detachment and meditation. When you are in meditativeness and when you are detached from this world, then you are following the Malini Tantras. When you are enjoying, wrapped around in this Maya, in this world that you have created around you, and think that you are undergoing all the modification that this world is undergoing, then you are in the Matrika created Mayic world, the world of holograms, if you want to visualize it that way. She is always clear that her place is in union with the yogi, with the detached Shiva. In fact, she says that he is the sun and I am the ray. She is the ocean, Shiva is the ocean and I am the drop. He is the Swami and I am the Dasi. She is always clear that she has to unite with Shiva. For this, as she grows older, she realizes that being a mere princess does not entitle her to be the lover of Shiva, to be the consort of Rudra. She undertakes a very tough tapasya, a very tough penance called Nanda Vrata. Nanda means eternal. Eternal Vrata. Vrata means taking a vow. She takes an eternal vow to return to the Godhead of Shiva. She takes an eternal penance, the meditation of achieving the awareness that there is nothing except Shiva. You might naturally question then, what is this story of the beam of light out of which comes Vishnu and out of which comes Brahma and all these creation and these Manasaputras and these yugas and what we have been talking all these days? All those are but devices for you to go back to your natural state of Shivatva. All these are nothing but devices for each one of us who can think and comprehend and can understand that we are nothing but avatars of Shiva manifesting in this body, in this space and time, understanding the freedom that exists in the creation and the creativity that is all pervading all around us. All this is a device for you to liberate yourself and to come to the knowing that I am nothing but Shiva. This is the eternal penance that Sati also undertakes so that she can be in union with Shiva all the time, eternally. Nanda Vrata. Of course, there are many modern texts which give you different meanings of this Nanda Vrata. I mean, they'll give you a very ordinary Vrata and try to convince you that this is the same penance, this is the same tapasya that was undertaken by Sati to achieve Shiva himself. Of course, there are very, very deep esoteric meanings to how this vrata is undertaken. Any one of you who is interested in achieving the Shiva Tattva, who wants to become Shiva, merge with Shiva, can also take the Nanda Vrata. Please contact me directly because it's a very, very tough penance. It's a combination of many sadhanas, many esoteric formulae and techniques that one must undergo to be in eternal union with Shiva. So when all this is happening, when Nanda Vrata is being undertaken by Sati, Brahma and Vishnu, they visit Kailasha and for Loka Kalyana request Lord Shiva to accept Sati as his consort because Sati is born only to be united with Shiva for eternity. And if that doesn't happen, the balance of this world, the balance between the Matrikas and the Malini go for a toss. Shiva very graciously grants their wish as well as appears before Sati and grants her also the assurance that she is going to be his consort. Where it is also mentioned how Sati explains to Shiva about her viyoga, her separation, how she had to endure the distance, the separation from Shiva, both in time and space and in the connect emotionally, energetically, consciously. Shiva explains that all this is but his game, his Leela. And this game has to be played for us to understand that all communication that is happening is nothing but the conversation that is happening between Shiva and Shakti. Everything, this whole universe, these multiverses, if you may want to include all of them, are nothing but conversations between Shiva and Shakti. I will not go into too much detail as to how the Trika system, the Trika Darshana explains all this, but I welcome you to take one or two of these techniques and to know for yourself how the communication between Shiva and Shakti is happening eternally, omnisciently, omnipotently. He says the whole of Shiva Purana is also a communication between Sati and Shiva, and later between Parvati and Shiva, who is also nothing but the manifestation of Shakti. This is all my game, this is all my Leela. Let's play the game, he tells her. He sends Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma, to meet Daksha Prajapati and ask for the hand of Sati. And when Brahma appears, who is the father of Daksha, the grandfather of Sati, who could refuse such an alliance? Everybody agrees to this beautiful match, even though there are hints of how well such a delicate princess lives on top of such a cold mountain of Kailasa. How she, who is surrounded by handmaidens and beautiful objects, live with ghosts and goblins and the Shiva Ganas who are grotesque by nature, and where there are minimal luxuries, if any at all. However, Virini, the mother of Sati, considers that she is lucky and Sati is also very, very blessed. And it is because of Sati's penance and worship, sadhana and aradhana, that Shiva has blessed her with himself. Isn't it wonderful to have Shiva as one's Vara? Of course, on the other hand, Sati is lost in the love, the intoxication of Shiva. For her, everything is Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Everything is Shiva, everything is beautiful, everything is the truth. In her heart, she knows that this is a game that she must play. And there are many fantastic things that are going to unfold. Her life is going to take this huge bell curve going up and then going down, and many fascinating and wonderful things to happen in future. We will pause here today. I would like to add something from the Krika tradition. It is said that all these stories, agamas, that are considered to be the dialogue, recorded dialogue between Shiva and Shakti, were given in the Kashmir Valley near Srinagar on a mountain called Mahadeva Hill to Maharishi Bhrigu. Bhrigu then gave it to Lord Prabhu Sri Ram, who then gave it to Lakshmana, and then Lakshmana gave it to several Nata Gurus. So I would want to tell you that it is said that at every iteration, at every passing on of this agamic truths, the wisdom has reduced many crores and lakh times, many million times. And it is said that what we have today is a very rudimentary knowledge of the dialogue between Shiva and Shakti. But it is enough. It is enough for us to introduce these techniques and sadhana and aradhana in our lives to achieve the Shiva Tattva. I would also like to add that this is the reason why the mantra Shri Shambho Ramanatha was revealed to me, because in my sadhana as Ramanatha, it was Shambho who came to the rescue and granted his grace of liberating wisdom. Mokshatva, Mumukshatva was the grace of Shambhu, who is also the Lord of Shakti. So with these words, we will pause today and continue in our next session. Let's all close our eyes, hold our hands, make a small prayer, repeat after me. Dhyana Moolam Gurur Murtihi, Puja Moolam Gurur Padam, Mantra Moolam Gurur Vakyam, Moksha Moolam Gurur Kripa. Shri Shambho Ramanatha, Shri Shambho Ramanatha.